Making a video. Alright, so this, some guy, he made a video, so we'll go do that. I haven't gotten to it yet, just been busy. So, anyway, vegetarianism, so if you're sick of the subjects, move along. Yeah, some other guy did the Angry Vegan or something like that. Post a link, did a video, did a compilation video of some of my older clips, and, some of my newer ones, actually. But anyway, yeah, it's good stuff. I like my videos, so yeah, I enjoy watching me making videos. Anyway, I totally get where you're coming from here, actually, Gary. Well, I mean, just, face palm, excuse me. I mean, you make this video whining like a little bitch, like there's some kind of tragedy because somebody voiced their opinion that they don't think much of human beings, and they certainly don't think they're worth torturing something over. Yeah, not that complicated. Anyway, it's part of my shtick online to come off as an abrasive asshole. I don't care about the abrasive part, I care about the content, shithead. Alright, you're basically glibly justifying torturing sentient organisms that have never done a goddamn thing to you, and you seem to think you have some right to cause them pain and suffering. And I'm saying, where do you get that right from? God? In reality, animal rights to me is a very serious issue, as well as creating ethical farming techniques. So there's no such thing. Look, it's always going to come down to money. So all you people can talk about all this stuff you think's going on in these holistic farms. Bullshit. When the rubber hits the road, things get cut. Okay, it costs money to ask the animals every day how their day is going and give them proper, give them a dental plan and all that kind of shit. It costs them too much money. We don't even treat humans ethically, right? We don't have ethical labor techniques. And you're going to talk to me about how, oh yeah, this is realistic? Right. $49 hamburger? I don't think you could sell one of those. And hopefully the future complete elimination of unregulated factory animal farming. It is regulated, and some of it just doesn't matter. Regulations, mega relations. I mean, look what we do to wild animals. The wild animals we're farming, right? The worst thing you can do as an animal, go to the brink of extinction, because then they'll bring you back just so they can farm a certain number of you. They'll cull you. So they're doing that to seals now. So they kill 300,000 of them every year, in brutal methods, because they're wild animals. So if it doesn't matter. You can throw arrows at them. You can kill them inhumanely. They're doing it here to deer. 1/3 of the deer in New Jersey will die this year, and most of those will be because of an impact with an arrow. They're getting killed by bows and arrows. Yes, they die slow and miserable. So much for this ethical bullshit, this regulated bullshit. We see how people regulate. Animal testing for commercial products. Well, for any product. Again, why do you just keep saying how I'm worth it? I'm worth it. So yeah, if you'll cure one of my diseases, go ahead and torture an orangutan. Fuck you. My fiance and I are also considering one day opening a non-kill shelter. Well, sorry, you don't seem to get what the subject is. It's really not about killing things, okay? Death is not the worst thing that can happen to you. I know people don't understand that, but it's the fucking truth. Dying is not the worst thing that can happen to you. Living in a pig pen, that's the worst thing that can happen to you. I mean, I just don't see any point of this why do people get hysterical about shelters humanely putting animals who are unwanted to sleep? It's perfectly sensible. I mean, this casual free pet ownership thing has got to go, because I'm stuck here feeding these orphaned cats, and it's abysmal what goes on. And frankly, if I had the courage, they should be killed. It's the humane thing to do. You're not doing them a favor by saving them. You're really not. For animals, as well as a rescue league for large breed dogs. What do you mean, pit bulls? Fuck. When we get the money to do this, well, I hope you never get the money if you're going to save pit bulls. So yeah, the issue of ethically treating animals well is something I take seriously. I don't know if you do take it seriously. I don't think ethical treatment, death in life, doesn't have anything to do with that. Don't make them, and if they exist, humanely put them out. But this whole idea that animals need to exist is dumber than the idea that humans need to exist. Despite the attitude my video comes across with. It's not an attitude, jackass. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Attitude. An abrasive asshole attitude. Your content, what you said, was the problem with your video. How you said it was totally irrelevant. The fact that you're somehow arguing that there is some human justification for causing unnecessary harm. You defended that. What this FREELEE girl is saying is that her position is either stop eating meat or die. That's not what she said, but she said you don't deserve, okay? She didn't say that, so that's just a lie, which to me is ridiculous and doesn't help vegetarians at all. Well, it says you. I say it's the truth, and we ought to say the truth. Frankly, if there was a fairness in the world, you would die if you torture animals. You should get struck by lightning. The decency God should strike you dead. The get what you deserve God should strike you dead. So if we had a world where justice and fairness dominated, you would die. She even went so far as to say that this applies to her family too, which is even more atrocious to me. Well, this nepotism thing is just silly. Your family should earn it like anybody else. I mean, yeah, okay, we're you know, by association we grow attached to people in our family, but that's just a prejudice, so that's just totally irrelevant, so fuck that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a vegetarian or vegan for health, dietary, or ethical reasons. Well, they're not all the same reason, and frankly I don't see any point in doing it for health or dietary reasons, in the sense that, what do you want to do, live forever? Yeah, right. I mean, it just doesn't make any difference. You're going to die. And you're probably, no matter when it happens, you're going to think it's inconvenient. And as an omnivore, I mean, there's no such thing. Myself, I do understand why people have ethical issues with the fact I consume meat as well as non-meat foods. Well, yeah, again, I don't know. You're not walking the walk. You're making a video against a vegetarian. You're claiming you have some sort of sympathy with the goals and ambitions, and yet you don't seem to have any sympathy, and you can't even moderate your own behavior to be consistent with what you profess to think people should do. So that's pretty bad. My problem with this girl's video is that she's taken the stance of using highly unethical viewpoints. I don't know. It's highly unethical to what? Say Nazis suck? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's ethical. To stop people from behaving unethically. Well, I'm just saying there's, you know, if you rape rapists, that sounds like just about right to me. And if you torture torturers, that probably is about right too. It doesn't make any sense. Well, it doesn't make sense to you, but it makes perfectly good sense to me. People should get what they deserve. If you can't give this basic respect for sentient organisms' capacity to be harmed and tortured, if you can't respect that, then why the fuck should I respect your capacity to be tortured? Fuck you. To say that someone needs to literally be forced with no other options, well, again, this is just silly. Yeah, we force people to do all kinds of things. We tell people they have to wear clothes, generally speaking. We do, you know, lots of things we oblige people to do because that's what the price of civilization. So clearly, once civilization realized that torturing animals is not acceptable, just like dog fighting and bullfighting and cockfighting and all the other stupid things people have done, we will say this is its time to say no more of this. This was really dumb, and we don't have to be dumb, and we don't have to support dumb. I mean, really, no, none of you. It's just a lie to think that there's something to do. This meat thing has something to do with human biology. It doesn't. And to being a vegan or vegetarian, it's just another way of getting around saying, think like I do or suffer the consequences. Yeah, be a Nazi, we'll shoot you. Be an asshole, a bigot, we'll shoot you. Yeah, we should. Be a drunk driver, we'll shoot you. That's perfectly sensible to me. And eventually, like I said, this veil of absolute bullshit that has protected the practice of torturing animals, once that veil is gone, once you don't have God to hide behind, God so says, go ahead and, you know, smear the lamb's blood around and sacrifice the animals and do all this crap. And once all that bullshit is gone, you're not going to have any fucking excuse for torturing your relatives. People are allowed to make the choice whether or not to eat meat. Well, you said they should be allowed to make the choice to torture. I'm saying that's like saying they should have the right to rape. And if you think there's a difference, I think you're a fool. And in a way, that choice makes people want to consider going vegan or not. And in a way, that choice makes people want to consider, I don't even know what that means, that's not a rational sentence. In a world where someone puts a gun to your head and says, fuck you, go vegan now, well, again, they say, fuck you, don't rape. They say, fuck you, don't be a pedophile. There's lots of things we say, fuck you, you can't do. You're saying that this isn't a real issue. You're saying that torturing animals for unnecessary indulgence is somehow not something we can say fuck you about. I say it's certainly something we should say fuck you about. Literally, who would want to live in that? I would. Civilization. Yes, less animals would be killed for the purpose of food production, but then you just impose a fuckload of suffering on humans. You say there's a fuckload of suffering. I'm saying if you don't acquire the addiction, there's no fuckload of suffering. And that's all that's being advocated here, is that you don't breed children to be addicted to killing and torturing animals for their sustenance because it's not necessary. They don't need meat. That was my issue. Well, your issue is shit. I did a response to this. Hopefully you clear a few things up. I doubt it. So you don't seem to understand the subject, generally speaking. But anyway, let's go play along. See how long it is first. Don't want to spend forever redundant. Oh, 10 minutes. We can do that. Barely even trying. I thought, oh, this is the regarding. I thought you already did this video. I get where Gary's coming from, and perhaps I should have clarified my position a little better. Skip that, please.
Alright, so I'm going to put the Some Guy 827 shtick aside for this video.
Wow.
I've got a video response from Gary inmendham on my FREELEE the Nazi video, and I'm thoroughly blasted by it, actually. He got me pretty good with his response. I've been subscribed to Gary for a long time, for years, and I agree with a lot of the stuff he has to say, actually. Believe it or not, I agree with his views on antinatalism and stuff. You wouldn't think a person who has a kid would, but from a philosophical point of view, I understand where he's coming from. And even with...
so why did you get all hysterical about this idea of someone passing judgment and saying, you're not worth it? I just don't get it. That's all she was saying. You're not worth it. Demonstrate something. Show me how you're worth torture. Just show me. Show me how you're worth it.
Subjects like vegetarianism and animal rights, I understand where he's coming from. I've seen the videos of how they treat animals in factory farming. I've seen videos of how they skin animals alive just for their fur. And I think that treatment of animals is absolutely horrendous, and it's not a minimal issue.
Yeah, well, again, on this flip side, I've seen family farms. I've seen how, you know, they go on vacation for a few days, and they just couldn't give a shit.
The people that have watched my videos and been subscribed for a long time, they kind of get that it's sort of my thing to be an asshole on the internet. Now, I don't know whether or not that was...
Yeah, I don't know who's supposed to... So I just don't... What's the fucking point about even talking about it then, or doing anything, if you think this is the way the world should work? Let's all just be incoherent, a back-ass word, unprincipled, undisciplined, irrational assholes. Because it's fun?
Kind of a good idea. It sort of made people kind of receive me as nothing but an asshole. But some people, they can see through that and they see where the shtick all lies. But no, I get where you're coming from in your video towards me. That it just seems like I feel that animal rights and getting them away from being treated as nothing but just all across the board livestock, you know, that's not a big deal to me. It actually is.
Well, again, I just don't know why'd you make your video, right? It just doesn't. How do you make any sense out of this? It's a big deal, but it isn't a big deal. I just glibly took a fart on the whole subject. I mean, come on.
It actually really is. And in my opinion, it's...
And the most logical part of the subject, which is just pointing out the simple truth. How can you make justifications? What is it about your life that is worth torturing something for it?
It's no less of an issue than the real political issues of this world, too. You know, you can't just turn a blind eye to one thing and solely focus on something else.
Well, that's another accusation, so where do you have evidence that she does that? No, no evidence. She probably has lots of things she thinks sucks.
Because then you're opening up the thing you're turning a blind eye to, like animal rights and such, in this particular instance. You're just opening it up to be ripened for abuse. Right?
I don't know how you can abuse it, actually, except for doing what you're doing, which is people abusing it to get views and to be controversial and all that kind of shit.
Now, my problems with things like PETA and stuff come from the fact that they use a lot of propaganda techniques in order to convince people to become vegetarians. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with being a vegetarian, nor is there anything wrong with being a vegan. It's...
I don't even know why that would even be a subject of somebody that would have a doubt. There's nothing necessarily wrong with not being a Nazi or not being a racist. Why would somebody think there's something wrong with those things? Except crazy racist Nazis? Holy shit, that was an interesting sound. I can't tell where the hell that came from. Sound like a Skype
dietary choice. When they want to put a bullshit, bureaucratic, you know, propaganda...
Probably his computer.
...and agenda into convincing people to perhaps eat healthier, to perhaps not indulge in eating meat anymore, then I have a problem. And that is my problem with this freely...
Well, what's propaganda, asshole? I mean, propaganda by its fundamental nature has to be a deception or a lie or bullshit. Where's the bullshit in her argument? Her argument's pretty goddamn obvious. Torture sucks. If you torture stuff, you suck. Stop sucking, sucky. What's complicated? Where's that? How's that propaganda?
The banana girl, that's literally this chick I was responding to's YouTube name. That's what my problem is with her. When she's...
Well, I mean, I have problems with lots of people's videos, you know, some of the videos they make, but when they get one right, why would I complain about the one they got right? So again, if you want to argue about bullshit, go ahead and argue about bullshit, but her video was pretty clear. She was just basically saying, look, it occurs to me that I'm living on a planet with a bunch of assholes who, if there was any justice, yeah, they'd have a goddamn knife up their ass.
Says something as ignorant and as arrogant as, if you eat meat, you might as well just die. You don't deserve...
Well, she didn't say you might as well just die. That would be swell, too. I would love for them just to might as well die. You know, just, yes, drown yourself in the bathtub. Yes, die. If you eat meat, yes. If you don't find it inconvenient, I would like you to, whatever, slit your wrist and die. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Deserve to live. You don't deserve to continue your existence.
Right, you deserve to get what you give. That's the simple principle here, and that's propaganda in your opinion. To advocate for the principle that you should get what you give, that's somehow propaganda. Evil propaganda. That's like Pol Pot propaganda or something, right? Well, I'm voting for it, frankly. If they ever put it on the goddamn ballot that people get what they fucking goddamn deserve, I'm voting for it.
Because of a choice of diet, then I have a problem. All right, I understand that there is.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it. Look, I have all this rapey stuff inside of me, right? Rapey genes from the past, and so I'm all rapey. And but I know I can't go be raping, right? Well, frankly, I don't have too many rapey genes. I have sex dreams, but yeah, I just can't imagine forcing. It just very unappealing. I'm a sissy. I don't like violence. Well, I mean, except for killing meat eaters. I like that. Yeah, that does give me a little bit of, ooh, yeah, ooh. Yeah, I'm a little hard for that.
There's a lot of suffering that goes into factory farming.
Farming, period. Farming. There's lots of little family farms, and they're shoving the little ring in the bull's fucking nose and then cutting his nuts off by tying some fucking twine around his testicles. You want somebody to, what do you want me to fucking say? All right, I should get a ball of twine and do all the other bullshit and cut your ears off and do all kinds of other shit. I should treat you like a cow. And then you'll sit there and say, well, is that what you deserve? Do you understand at least that much? That you should get what you're given? I mean, if you're willing to tie a fucking string around their testicles, well, let's do it to you, buddy.
There's a lot of carnal, primal, just carnage bullshit that goes into that.
Now again, well, this is just such a, that's propaganda, okay? When you just keep talking about this stupid factory farm bullshit, with the delusion that there's some holistic farm somewhere where, again, like I said, where the animals are living in a nice, wonderful Disneyland civilization, where they're getting what they deserve and getting a nice little best that life can offer, kind of many opportunities, you know, college scholarships and such. There's no such farm.
But the hypocrisy of her argument to me was that let's impose the same shit on our own species.
I mean, yeah, that's right. You know, they take away the baby cow and kill it to keep the mother to keep having babies, right? So they don't kill it. They put it in a little pen and raise it for a year, torturing it basically. You know, never seeing the light of day kind of thing. And you're going to make an argument to me that human beings deserve something besides having their nuts cut off?
And that's it. There was no end game to her argument. It was just like, let's just kill everyone that eats meat.
I don't think that was her argument. So again, you can just say, let's all just kill them. I was the one who said, yeah, I think killing them would be fun, personally. She said she doesn't really have a taste for that, but it's what they deserve. There's a difference. You're not making the distinction here, but it's okay. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter. Again, you still think that people can commit an unethical act and they shouldn't have to pay a price for it, commensurate to the severity of the act. Torture is a significant act. I don't think you can have too harsh a penalty for unnecessary, gratuitous, bigoted torture.
Rather than have the conversation with them that
yeah, she's all for doing that, and she's done that. She's just pointing out that, hey, the facts have been put right in your face. You're basically just saying, I'm a bigot and I'm going to stay a bigot, and we had to have a civil war about shit like that. So in a sense, yeah, I guess I'd vote for that too. I'd vote for the Civil War.
You know, should or shouldn't be had, you know, depending on your point of view. You know, rather than have the conversation with them and say, you know, you should consider.
Well, again, she's done all that. She's saying it's right in her face. There's no other conversation to have. People are clearly just saying, I don't give a fuck. That's what they're saying. And they might as well be saying Jew smooze or I'm not black, so why the fuck should I care about those people? That's all they're doing. It's not happening to them. It's not their kid being slaughtered. So it's all okay. And that's it. It's just a glib denial for convenience. You can't get more heinous as a criminal. I don't even think Nazis were that heinous in terms of the simplistically stupid argument they were making. Humans are worth hating. Animals, again, what are their crimes?
Consider being a vegetarian. You know, these kind of people, they resort to the same thing. They resort to the slaughterhouse footage. They resort to the same kind of...
What? The truth. Oh, they resort to the truth. Yeah, what propagandist? Oh, that's just so horrible. I mean, pick a side, fuckhead. What is this argument? You're not allowed to show people what the facts are? Oh.
Thing PETA did when they were comparing chicken coops to the Holocaust.
Yes. Why not?
Alright. It's not that it's a non-issue. It's that you're taking something as severe as the Holocaust and saying that...
Yeah, it's happening every 4 months here. There's a you know, a Holocaust every 4 months, every 2 months, you could say, in terms of numbers. There's a Holocaust, a Holocaust, a Holocaust, a Holocaust. And, you know, you can play this game with consciousness and pretend that it has something to do with how intelligent something is, but it doesn't. Human beings 100,000 years ago were dumb motherfuckers, but they still felt. All the emotions were still there, all the sensations were still there. So what game are you playing? Torture's torture, shithead. You think if you drilled holes in a human being 100,000 years ago, if you drilled a bunch of holes in his teeth, you'd say, oh, gee, that was fun.
You're no better than a Nazi because you had a chicken McNugget in your...
Well, again, I don't really want to do the chicken thing, but, you know, you can't deny the birds have a brain, okay? It might be a bird brain, but they can learn. They're certainly emotional little creatures. And, yeah, they're not pigs, so I'd rather use pigs as an example. But you want to pretend it doesn't matter? Go ahead and pretend, but that's all you're doing. You're pretending. It's a fairy tale you're telling yourself that it doesn't matter.
Life. The hypocrisy in her argument comes in from that she'll use that mentality, but say something along the lines of, if you don't view this issue the way I do, then you deserve to die.
Well, she's saying if you don't view it logically, that's right. I mean, just saying, the title is bigot, exploitionist, tyrant, imposer. I mean, these are the words you could use to describe this activity. It's those words that are convicting them, not her opinion. It's the fucking facts of what people are. That's the problem. It's not that she happens to share a different opinion, have a different opinion. It's the right opinion. She's right. You're wrong.
And we should force people to view this issue the same way that I view it.
Yes, I think we should force rapists to view it the way I view it. You don't have a right to do it. I don't care how much you really want to. You don't have a right, period. And the same is true for torturing animals. You might want to, but you can't, because you don't have a right to do it. That's my opinion. And I think it should be enforced on people. It's true. I mean, I think it should be enforced, at least in the sense of saying, look, we'll grandfather all you addicts out, but you're just not going to keep doing this. You're not going to keep making kids addicted to this shit. And it is shit.
That's why I put FREELEE the Nazi in the title of the video.
Right, because you're a propagandist and an exaggerator and all the... You're a hypocrite. You should just say freely the hypocrite, because then you could be a hypocrite too, because it's exactly what you are. You're not describing her, you're describing you.
Because that's a very nationally socialist ideal. Think the way we do, or else.
It's not a socialist ideal, and it's not that they said think the way we do or else. It's hardly the nature of the Nazi philosophy, okay? The Nazi philosophy was basically, we don't give a fuck about, you know, this class of people, and we want Europe. So, you know, let's not confuse the subject.
And, you know, if you watch any of her other videos, I mean, they're just pure shock value. You know, it was like back in the days when the Amazing Atheist was yelling at that Onision guy for his stupid fucking...
I don't know. Where's the... I don't know. I don't find the Banana Girl all that shocking. So I don't... I guess I just haven't watched enough of her videos. Maybe she does something shocking. She poured blood on her head or something. Or, I don't know. Paint Porky Pig on her head in blood. I don't know.
Vegan videos that were along the same thing. You know, they was just manipulate people to be vegetarians.
I don't know. You manipulate with what? Again, facts. I mean, I've seen her videos. There's a lot of facts in there about what your body uses, you know, metabolism, maybe not too much human genetic stuff, but there's plenty of arguments made about rationally why human beings will do better not eating meat. So what's wrong with that?
Not because there are ethical reasons why you'd want to do this, perhaps, or health reasons why you'd want to do it. It's view whoring.
Well, I don't know. I don't even understand this argument, okay? Most of her videos are about health, okay? The body thing. She's doing that to sell the idea of vegetarianism. And the good news is she's doing that in the context where she really sees the ethical urgency of it. And it's just, this is the byproduct. The byproduct is you're healthier, and the really good news is you cleaned your character. You're improved. Your character is beautiful. The inside gets prettier too.
I mean, I'm hard pressed to legitimately believe that this chick really would wish legitimate death on her family members because they eat meat. That they...
Well, whatever. You want to say wish death. I'm just saying, look, I mean, you earned it. Okay? I'm just saying the right to live, the right to function should come with some obligation to function at a certain minimum standard of efficiency. And if you're torturing things to be here, well, that's not that you haven't met the minimum standard of efficiency. You're just too damn expensive. You're not fucking worth it. Again, that's what she was saying. I mean, that's my paraphrase, but that's what she's basically saying. You're not worth torture.
They should be put into some hypothetical vegan concentration camp.
Well, she didn't say anything about that, so you just made that shit up. I don't think she'd waste any time torturing them. Silly person. She's not stupid like you assholes.
And forced, you know, to recant because of a dietary choice.
Again, you want to call it a dietary choice? We'll call rape a sexual choice. What's the point? Why play this semantics game? Do you really think that works? A dietary choice when it involves torture? I mean, now you want to call what the Nazis did an association choice? They were exercising their right of association. They didn't want to associate with Jews anymore, or blacks. So is that the pretty words you're going to put on it? That's all that is. You're the propagandist here, clearly.
You know, the imposition of that kind of mentality on somebody is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's absolutely honest, and in my opinion, right on. That's the truth. And people got to think that way. They got to take some responsibility for the fact that this game ain't playable. And this is one of the examples of how the game just isn't playable. It's just too fucking expensive. There's too much disaster. Right now, your standard of living, your comfort, your little guitar shirt and all this shit, it's all your little necklace, all this shit's made out of other people's exploitation and forced labor, essentially. That's what it's made out of. Your life is made out of suffering. And it's just too expensive. And as long as you're not in the gulag, it's all okay, is all you're saying. It's my choice to not pay any attention to the gulag workers.
You cannot force people to be one way or the other. You know.
Well, I'm just saying. Obviously, we have laws. We force people not to drink and drive. We force people to do lots of things. So it's just bullshit to say, well, you can't force people. Yes, you can. It's a very effective force.
You have to follow some sort of ethical code of fairness. You can't put a gun...
I mean, it's just the silliest thing ever. The word fairness in an argument about gratuitously, conveniently imposed torture. For the sake of convenience, I will torture. And you're going to argue to me about some kind of fairness code? Fuck you!
...into someone's head, essentially, and say, be a vegetarian. You know? Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, right. So it's like putting a gun to the head of the people who want to go to bullfights, or putting a gun to the head of the people who love the Coliseum and want some more blood sport, or cockfights, or we can go right down the list of all the things that have been banned or outlawed because it's absolute fucking goddamn gratuitous nonsense. And look how you're describing it. Putting a gun to their head and saying you can't torture animals anymore for your entertainment.
It's like saying that if meat eaters were going to try to win their argument, they'd only be able to do so by putting guns to people's head and say, kill every deer out there and eat it. You know, find every cow you can and kill it.
Yeah, if it was the truth, if that was logical, I'd be for it. Again, if you could make some logical argument that if I kill all the deers, there'll be less suffering in the world, then I'm all for killing all the deers. I'm not really against killing all the deer. So again, you just keep mixing subjects. Because the animals in nature are just being fucking used up. They're being ground up by an insidious monster. Mother Nature is a bitch. She should be fucking killed.
Eat it. You know, as harsh as my video was, I'm not gonna degrade the argument down to where some people do it and they're just sitting there eating a fucking burger. You know.
Well, you just have done that. You've just glibly said somehow this is a dietary choice. Like there's, yeah, torture and non-torture, dietary choice. Fuck you.
Just doing that to make a point. It doesn't make a point. Especially if they're eating something gross like fucking McDonald's, and none of that meat is even off a living creature to begin with, from what I understand. That shit.
Well, none of it, by the time you're eating it, is living. Duh. Because you couldn't eat it if you ate it raw anyway, right? Right. You couldn't digest it. So there goes another one of these arguments. These are one of these facts, you know. Can't digest raw meat.
Comes out of this pink goo vat of hell, or whatever.
Well, obviously the pink goo vat doesn't come from hell. It comes from baby cows. Taken from their mommy.
But no, I understand where you're coming from. I do. I'm thoroughly blasted by your video.
Yeah, well, if this is what a thoroughly blast reaction is, fuck. I hope to fail next time, because success doesn't look too good.
But you know, in my opinion, it's just to say that somebody deserves to die. That they deserve...
They should get what they deserve, and I just don't know how torture would have... What's the penalty for torture? A little fanny abrasion? You know, should take some sandpaper and rough up their little butticus? I mean, what's the commensurate or appropriate punishment for torture? Torture. Throw a marble at them?
To be killed. That the people around them deserve to endure emotional pain and fucking suffering at their death because they had a hamburger.
Just saying, of all the shit that goes on in the world, of all the badass bullshit that goes on, all the little innocent people get eaten up by fucking floods or tsunami or this or that, or nah, the ones who should die are these fucking torturing bastards. That's what she's basically saying, shithead.
Watch, it's a preposterous fucking argument.
Well, it's not her argument. Again, she didn't say, I would kill them. She even did qualify her statement and say, I'm not saying anybody should be killed. I'm just saying this is what I feel is appropriate for the crime.
I mean, there's no way to disagree that that is just preposterous. Though,
well, again, I just think it's perfectly easy to find it completely unpreposterous. Torture should get you in one big pile of trouble. Yeah, sorry, I'll take advantage of that. So it's kind of a funny face.
I hope that sort of cleared things up.
No, it didn't help at all.
And yeah, hopefully. I hope that sort of cleared my position of it. So
No, your position seems pretty propagandist and wishy-washy and irrelevant. What exactly are the penalties you think are appropriate? What's the appropriate penalty for eating meat?
I don't really think that, animal rights is a non-issue.
Well, you do think it's a non-issue because you don't think it should be punished.
Okay, I don't. There are people that just are torturous abusers to animals in this fucking world.
Right, and all the rest of the people are hiring them to do their dirty work for them. You hire it done. You're just you contract the killing, the torturing, the maiming, and the harm. You contract it.
And and the reality is, being a citizen of modern civilization, okay, you're contributing to that even just by living anywhere.
Right, exactly. So that makes it even, there's this huge, big, giant pile of horror out there, and these are the easy ones to fix, the ones under your control. It's right there in front of you. You can control it. You can cut out one meat meal a week, can't you? Yes. And then it can be 2, and then 3, and then 4. And pretty soon you'll realize, oh shit, I didn't need that crap at all.
Your house will be built somewhere that will displace animals from what was once a natural habitat. And
again, nothing could be the best news ever. Hey, they got displaced. Well, good for them. Tyrannosauruses are better off not living. And certainly all their food choices are better off being extinct. Extinction kicks ass.
It caused even more hardships for their existence. But that's just kind of how we built our civilization. There's almost little you can do about that.
Well, again, that's not the subject of the video. The one you can do something about is the contract torture.
Yeah, I'm not about to go build a tent in the woods just for the sake of that. I mean, I'm
right, so what would you do to save one pig from torture? What would you do? Snap your fingers?
fan of my amenities, I'm not going to lie. But I will say that when it comes to, chainsawing pigs' heads off and shit, and throwing cows into fucking meat grinders and shit,
Yeah, well, this is all just talk, right? I'm against it, but I finance it, and I support my buddies who food choice their cows into that grinder. They're food choicing. They have a right to food choice the cow into the grinder.
There's a certain ethical standpoint that needs to be enforced into that. Putting a gun to someone's fucking head and say, just eat, leave.
Again, this is just stupid. We put guns to people's heads for all kinds of shit. All kinds of motherfucking shit. It's all kinds of things you have to be obedient to live in civilization. And this should be one of them.
This motherfucker, it's not going to work. And it doesn't help the argument for...
Well, says you. I say eventually it's going to take over the world, so to speak. The meat eaters will be the minority, and they're going to be, out of luck.
Vegetarians at all. I mean, there's a reason why the video has 11,000 down likes. Okay, thumbs down.
Right, there's a reason why, because most Americans believe in angels. You maybe don't know that. But most people think God said we should torture the animals. Most people are stupid motherfuckers.
And only 5,000 thumbs up. And every video that this chick has made since then has just...
Yeah, well, whatever. You know, you could sit there and take votes in all kinds of circumstances and say they mean something, but I mean, you know, you should know that there's a fallacy out there, you know, called the fallacy from argument from popularity, and it really is fallacious.
Been on the same par of ludicrous. You know, her argument...
Ludicrous, why? Because it's not Christian. See, it's not a properly Christian opinion. Animals are for us to dominion over. They're nothing like us at all. We were made by God. Oh, they were made by God too, but they were made by God for us to step on and such.
Argumentation about vegetarianism is just, it's insane.
Well, you're saying it's insane to recognize that brain function doesn't really have anything to do with being human, that all the other little mammals have brains and they're functioning pretty much the same way ours is, except they just don't do the vocabulary thing, so they can't do the high school thing, so they can't be smartasses like you. But they can suffer. And that fact is a fact, and to miss that fact you have to be a bigot. Period. No other way to miss it except to be a bigot.
It's insane. There's nothing wrong with being a vegetarian. To no extent. You can enjoy that diet. There's nothing wrong with being a vegan. But don't put a gun to someone's head and say that it's the only way of life or else.
Right. Again, the choice is we should be able to choose torture. Torture is a good enough choice. It's good enough. Yeah. Humans are entitled to choose torture.
Otherwise, that's a bit fucking hypocritical if you're vegan and vegetarian for ethical standpoints. You can't violate ethics in the name of ethics.
Well, that's just another one of the silliest things ever. Yes, that's exactly what ethics is. Ethics is giving people what they deserve. The argument is torturers deserve punishment.
It doesn't make any sense to do that. So anyway.
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense to do that. Just like it makes sense to have laws against rape.
And that's hopefully cleared my position a little bit on it.
Nah, well, it didn't do shit. It sounded like the same glib crap you made in the first video, except this one you're saying, hey, I didn't mean to say exactly what I said in that video in this video. I'm just saying it nicer. Super. Alright, well that was a waste of time. She wants your balls. I don't think that's... Hybrid nerd. Huh. Let's see. Crazy vegan wants to kill you. Hybrid nerd. Why the hell? Why is this hybrid nerd somebody I should listen to? Why has he got 2 videos on here? I guess it's just a FREELEE thing. It just doesn't sound like somebody I should waste my time on, right? Hybrid nerd? I don't think so. Nazis look like more fun. Nazi rise to power. They did have dashing uniforms. Yes. Very nice. Anyway, till next time. Yeah, I think I'm done. Dinner time. Potato soup. Yes, potato and carrot and cabbage. Yummy. Alright, it's not that yummy, but you know, it's life. Till next time, no torture involved.